Hello mga kabiyaya. The next podcast po is something that's very dear to my heart. I have observed and seen Miss Maribel Ongpin in action for many decades. Sometimes tahimik lang po siya, sometimes hindi. Matapang siya sa tamang paraan. Parating iniisip lang po niya yung kapakanan ng aming lipunan. She is a true patriot, a woman of extreme substance, somebody I look up to, somebody I wish to emulate. I hope you enjoy this podcast. Makikita nyo at maririnig nyo na yung buhay niya ay hindi naman planchado na walang problema. Pero, ang ginawa niya is she chose to make something out of everything. Mahirap, masama, naghanap siya ng paraan para i-convert po yan at magiging maganda and somehow parang katulad ng ng fertilizer, hindi ba? Yung fertilizer is minsan nagagawa from horse manure, cow manure, at ginamit niya pang fertilize ng buhay so that other things can grow. Eka nga, use that shit and grow. Thank you, Tita Maribel. Love you. Magandang hapon po mga kabiyaya. Nandito po kami with somebody I always looked up to, yung idolized in many ways. Yes. Eka nga, there's an English word called humdinger. This is no less than Maribel Ongpin, who is many things to many people, but is a cat lover, a dog lover, and so welcome to this podcast. Hi, Tita.
Thank you.
Tita, so tell us when you started, when was your first recollection of a cat or a dog that you cared for or loved?
Yeah. Well, long ago, I lived in Baguio with two sisters. We were three sisters. And we were living in Vallejo Hotel because that was owned by my grandfather. My mother was widowed because my father died during the war. Anyway, suddenly we had a cat that adopted us. She was black, and we called her Mooning.
Muning.
Yeah. I guess it must have been the staff that called her Mooning because we would have given her a more glamorous name. But anyway, she was called Mooning, and she soon had kittens. Okay, and so one of her kittens was called Popsy, and I remember another one was called Petronius because I was reading Quo Vadis at that time. But the point was that we were so fascinated and we were so close to this family of cats that we decided that they were a royal family. So it was Queen Mooning and Prince Popsy, etc. royalty. And then after that, we even had a newspaper called Catlandia Herald.
Catlandia Herald.
Yeah, all about cats. I mean, so that's how I went into the world of cats and have never left it. My two sisters, who are both in the United States and alive and well, each of course has cats. And then it's already down to, well, my children. I have five. four are cat lovers. There's one who pretends that he's not.
Who's that? Papa?
Rafael, yeah. He always pretends like, you know, uh, cloying remarks and all that. But we tease him because we have a family
Chat group.
and we're always showing cats, etc. But he was in Italy recently, and he also saw a cat in the train. So he took a picture and sent it to us with
Contributed.
a few derogatory comments, but never mind. That's a joke, and so that's a story. And then my children. I mean, Lisa, of course, and then the my son across the street has five.
Miguel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Yuan, my second son, came into the cat world very recently now. I think he has six or seven.
Yeah,
Picking up.
I remember Rover.
Yeah,
Because-
yeah.
because-
Rover followed him, yes. And now he has Jaguar and I don't know what.
They come to the clinic, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So when Yuan, I know this person.
yeah, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's it. And then over the years, for example, I have a sister-in-law who, because I don't know why, maybe because there were too many children, there were seven. My in-laws, my mother-in-law never allowed pets. And so they're not used to pets. Of course, I converted my husband. All my sons-in-law got converted. Okay. Anyway, the point was that one day there was a cat show. I don't know if you remember it. It was in GSIS because that Mr. Arans is very animal lover.
Yes.
So we went there and I called my sister-in-law, said, "You have nothing to do. Why don't you come to the cat show with me?" So she went. And then when we went out after spending hours there, she idly said, "Wow, maybe I should get a cat." I think before the words were out of her mouth, we put a cat there. And now she got so attached to the cat. And then so now when my niece opted to move to the States and had a cat, so she gave her the cat. So now she's the owner of two cats.
Wow.
And getting and very happy with
This
them.
is on the Ongpin side, or
Yeah, Ongpin side. On our side, we don't need to convert anybody. It's the Ongpins we have to talk to. And then I remember that my husband, one day, it was Valentine's Day, he decided to give me a Siamese. Okay. That's supposed to be a surprise. And then Joanna was the one supposed to pick her up. And she told me, "I have to go to buy a pencil." I said, "In Makati?" I said, "Why in Makati? You can buy a pencil here." No, we had an argument. But she was lying. She was supposed to get the cat. Anyway, that cat, we called her Valentina.
okay.
Valentine. And then, when Valentina passed away, unfortunately, after a long life, I visited my cousin in another one, my cousin in Australia, in Sydney. And she said, "Oh, let's go to the cattery. Let's look at cats." So, of course, I went there just to look at cats, but a cat started meowing at me, or I don't know, showing me some kind of affection. So I said, "I want that cat. Can I buy that cat?" It was a Burmese. And, without any plans I had to call somebody here and how can I get the cat through, etc. It was Pichi Prieto who helped me.
Yeah.
And then it came, of course, a few days after me. And since my cousin lived in a district of Sydney called Warunga.
Barunga, yes, yeah.
I called the cat Warunga.
Yeah.
And of course, her nickname was Rungay. And she lived for a long time. Loved her.
Wow.
Yeah. And I can tell you more. Many
Many
cats
stories.
went through this life.
Your Catlandia, what would you write about?
Oh, about royalty. The Queen mooning had a birthday, and then
Yeah.
Prince Popsy came.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
Yeah.
I
So
wish
you-
I had kept just one copy. Unfortunately, we just printed it by ourselves. We didn't print it. We just
Wrote.
printed letters. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. How was it like growing up in Baguio?
Oh, in the 1950s, very peaceful. And nobody had a car among my classmates. So we walked everywhere. It was very safe.
Yeah.
Could walk at night. Um, Population was 30,000. It was after the war. So, people were.
Did you live there during the war?
Yes, we lived there during the war. My father was killed by an American bomb in front of the cathedral. They had carpet bombing in Baguio by the Americans because they had wrong intelligence that it was a Japanese headquarters. By that time, Namashita was already way up north. But anyway, it was very, very much destroyed, and when we went back, Session Road. I would say half of the buildings were ruins at that time. Little by little, and then as I said, uh, we we went to school there. I went to Holy Family, and then Saint Teresa's opened. It was nearer my house, and then we would have parties. One of my classmates was Pilita Corrales, by the way.
Oh.
So she was always singing in the party, and the other one was Bert Nivera.
Ah, yeah.
So those are Baguio people in a
They're
sense.
Baguio.
I mean, Pilita really comes from Cebu.
Ah,
But
okay.
her parents put her there, I don't know why, to be a boarder.
Ah,
And then she was already singing. That was her
okay.
that was her calling.
Yeah, that was really
And
her call.
so was Bert Nivera. So, those are the two people.
Yeah, Baguio for me is a super
at that
special
time,
place. I'm sure
I have to
nothing.
admit that they were still eating dogs flagrantly. I mean, if you went to the market,
You could buy dog
you
meat.
will see, no, not you. You could buy dog meat. You will see the indigenous people bringing half-starved dogs. You know, so that means to say they were gonna feed them and then kill them
Yeah.
because of that, custom. But you don't see that anymore.
No,
I
you
think that's
don't.
improved.
It's improved. It's hidden, but
Yeah.
it's still kind of
I
there.
know. And then there was actually once, not too long ago, before the law. When was the law? Animal welfare.
1980 something.
Okay.
Then 1998, I think. Yeah.
Well, before that, we have some kind of, what was that? We had we have the Jaime B. Ongpin Foundation.
Correct.
named
I
after
pass
my
it.
husband. Yeah.
I pass it all the
Okay.
time.
And then we had some kind of connection with the Consuelo Foundation.
Yes,
of
Alger.
the
Yes.
Algers, yeah.
Tito was a treasurer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, those people from Hawaii would come,
Yes.
and one of them said he wanted to eat dog meat.
Oh my God.
Or it was still before the law, and there was actually a restaurant in
That
La
had it,
Trinidad
yes.
called McDoggies.
Huh?
McDoggies. Yeah, I have a picture of that somewhere.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but now that's gone.
Yeah.
And they're catching people that are bringing truckloads of
Yeah.
those now.
I have a case actually. We filed in
Good.
Baguio.
Yeah, file.
File. Yes,
Teach them a
definitely.
lesson.
Yeah.
And this sometimes we hear about people being cruel, but people are reporting them.
Yes.
They're not tolerating it
They're not
anymore.
no longer. In fact, when we filed the case, I got interviewed by a radio station, this internet. So it's online, but it's also mostly radio.
Yeah.
And when I was looking at the comments while the interview was going on, a lot of people were upset
Yeah. Yeah.
locals.
Yes.
They were saying, because the issue was a man who butchered his own dog for the graduation of his kids.
Yeah.
And they were saying, you are disrespecting our customs. You don't kill a dog
That's your
for
pet.
yes,
Exactly.
and for graduations,
Yeah.
because he was trying to get off the hook, saying it was ritual.
No.
No.
Not ritual.
Not at all. Exactly.
Not at all.
And so one of the
was
ones,
he an indigenous person?
he's from Cagayan, Kalinga. But that's why. But the funny thing is, all the comments were, you are you're
Yeah.
disrespecting our customs.
Making a travesty.
Yes, actually, because it's like I know there was some really bad bus accident last year, the year before, going towards Sagada. The 24 people didn't make it in that, and they killed the dog as a sacrifice. And so it went into the parameters. Not that I accept that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
anyway, so these people were commenting that you are disrespecting our own culture.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
So
And besides, if you're already living in an urban area, you cannot use those customs anymore.
No.
That's my opinion, especially when there's a law.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. In fact, I was planning with the UP, hopefully, we will get subject matter experts, because you know how the Northerners are. If you're
Yeah.
not from the North,
Yeah.
you can't talk about this thing.
Yeah.
So we'll get subject matter experts to talk about the history,
Yeah.
the customs,
Yeah.
and we will be inviting the PNP.
Yeah.
That's sometime December.
Okay.
I'll invite you, Tita.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so just to get, information, sharing information,
Yes.
and
exchange of views.
views. Yes, exactly.
You know that sometimes some customs have to move on.
Well, not a couple of decades ago, people were still eating humans.
Yeah.
I mean, and they've moved on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it could be,
Yeah.
it could be done. It's very nice. Dean Ray of Cordillera University.
What's her name?
His name is Dean. He's the dean of the law school.
What's
He's our lawyer.
Yeah, what's his name? I know him.
Yeah, so he's
What's
our
his
lawyer.
family name?
It's a long one. Ara something.
Arasan
Yes,
Mendez.
yes,
I
yes.
know him. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's my lawyer there.
Good.
And he's a wonderful man.
Yeah, I've met him.
Yeah. So he's my lawyer there whenever I get into trouble there.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, we should have lawyers to get us through bad patches.
Yes. Yes. He's a wonderful man.
Yeah.
I was reading a book. Was it Apa who wrote a book about your late husband?
You mean the biography?
Yes.
That's Nick Joaquin.
Nick Joaquin.
Yeah.
Apa did the
forward.
foreword.
Yeah.
And I read it a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I remember about you moving into this house and having the library.
Yeah.
And you getting upset that it wasn't done in the, I don't know, alphabetical or whatever.
Yeah.
And I found that so cute. So it made me think that not only, and you continue to write for Star, right?
No, Manila Times.
Manila Times. Yeah, and
I
so
have 7 readers.
but you've been writing ever since. So Catlandia
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
and books, the library. When I read that,
Yes.
is it a passion? Because Apa writes.
Yeah, it's a passion with us. We read. We grew up reading. In Baguio, we had lots of time.
Yes.
I mean, think about it. There was no television. You would listen to the basketball games on radio, and the entertainment was the movies. And then they had a public library. That was very okay.
Where was the public library?
At that time, it was at the corner where the BPI bank
Yes,
is.
yes.
There.
Ah.
So imagine from Vallejo, it was
It's
a
a
10-minute
stones,
walk.
yeah, stones
I
throw away.
borrowed so many books from there. In fact, last week when we went to Sariaya, I was happy to see in the city hall that they had a library. You know, libraries now have to be more active. They can just wait for people to come and borrow books. They have to go to the schools, do storytelling, show books, etc. And when I was there, I noticed she had a little signboard saying kid kid not kid storytelling, this and that. And I said, are you doing this? She said, yeah, we when we have funds. Right now we don't. So you have to go to the schools. She said, and also um, our books are dated. We need new books. You know, it's a matter of talking to the LGU and saying, give a little budget, not much.
Yeah,
Not
it doesn't cost much. Now, this work that we're doing made me see how important the LGUs
Yeah.
are on
In fact-
many levels.
Yeah, in fact, there was a barangay elections, last year or early this year, I don't remember. And of course, I'm the president of this homeowners association. So of course, both sides came here to campaign, and they brought the Kabataan Barangay with them. And each of them gave a spiel, and one of them said that she was going to do animal welfare. And then they come from those slums there in Addition Hills. I was
Yeah, we-
elated.
Yeah, we've done several kapon in the different blocks
Yeah,
of
there in
barangay.
Addition Hills.
Addition Hills, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, one of the Kabataan Barangay, she said she's going to do in animal welfare. I will follow her up. Maybe she
Yeah.
needs a bit of help or something.
Yeah. And Charis Abalos, the daughter of Menchi
Yeah.
and secretary, is very much into animal welfare. She has a group called Pet Kolavko.
Sige, wonderful. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. So we're collaborating because it's our second year anniversary.
Yeah.
And we're going to have it in the Mandaluyong City College.
Okay, good.
And to date, there's already 2,000
You
registers.
see?
Registered.
Yeah. Even
pets.
the caddies in Manila Golf, I sent one to Biaya.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because they have cats and they said, Ma'am, gusto namin magkapon. I said, wala ba sa barangay ninyo? Wala, or whatever. So I brought them there.
Yeah. No. First time I really met you, and you might not remember, I was with Keng Keng and Sel in Puerto Galera, and you were with the
The Loxins.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Loxins, and you were playing chess, and I was listening to you while you were playing chess.
Yeah.
Yes,
But believe me, I'm a beginner in chess. The one who used to mentor me, but the one who used to ask me to play chess was Bea Sobel. But because I was a beginner, everybody here knows how to play chess. Her security guard would be on my side. Afterward, when we were winning, she'd throw him out. No way. Yeah.
You also ran for mayor for Makati at once, or no?
No.
What did you run? You ran for some.
Abanse Pinay, when they instituted the party list, there was a party list for women. It was called Abanse Pinay. And I was the second candidate. It was the beginning of party list. No, nobody saw pa the opportunities. So we presented 3 candidates. I was the second. And we won, but not enough votes
For the
2.
second, yeah.
The first one, she did very well in Congress.
Who was this?
Her name was Sarenas. I forget her first
So
name.
is it still around?
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
not around. But there are other women's parties already. So
No, that's why when I talked to Lisa, I said, "Your mom's a humdinger," and she looked at me and she was like, "Yes, that's the best
remember-
description of my mom."
I remember I went all over the Philippines campaigning. Ay nako, I learned how to say datapwat and some whatever else that in Tagalog, and people were getting surprised. But I was just following what the others were saying. It was fun.
So you're very adventurous. You're very courageous.
Well, adventurous, yes.
No, and I think courageous because you know Maria Goolsby, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
she was my teacher.
yes. So we're very close. She's the
yeah.
godmother of Katarina, my eldest daughter.
Okay.
And I don't know why we were talking about you one day and she goes, Maribel, she said, Maribel, taga Baguio yan. Fortote, she's strong.
Yeah, well, she was our teacher, and thanks to her, we managed to, well, we all had dissertations, of course, but we managed to have it
Published. I went to the...
yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, she was-
In Rockwell, yeah.
Thanks to her, actually.
Well, so, cats, you have rescues outside.
Yeah.
What else are your reading? What else are your passions?
I have a book club. That's part of the reading. And of course, I play golf.
Yes, golf is the thing.
I played.
Still?
Yeah. 3 times a week.
Oh, wow.
Because, unless, of course, the weather is horrible. Because before the pandemic, we were playing 2 times a week. When the pandemic came and we had nothing to do, we played 3 times, so we're still doing it.
Who's your group?
Marixi Prieto, Cora Suntay, sometimes Lorna Buena, and Isa Lorenzo. Of course, those 2 are Class A. How
Yeah.
we are in Class C and D. Okay? But we have fun because golf has a handicap.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
I urge you to pick up golf.
I used to play as a
It's
child
so fun.
because of Baguio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play golf. It's fun. I mean, devote a few hours a day to it's you can get unstressed, and then you can also think.
Yeah, I
Because
think
it's
so.
walking.
Yeah, I think so. I can imagine. So, you growing up in Baguio, so you've given us that. How about being a mother, a wife? How did that all tie in?
Well-
Because all your kids are really, I believe, into reading.
Yes. I don't know how they went into reading. Maybe because I was reading and because we gave them books.
And they write well.
Yeah, they write well. That's true. And when I went to the U.S. for graduate school after Assumption, and I went to Assumption on a scholarship actually. I had to take commerce because that's what Mother Esperanza said. But my heart belonged to literature. So after I worked a bit, I went to the States for graduate school. English and American Lit. And my husband, at that time, he was my boyfriend. He wanted to get married. I said, no. Let's go to graduate school. I convinced him to go to Harvard Business School. Of course, his brother was there already, and the brother was also the one convincing, so he got convinced. And so when we came back, I taught for a number of years. I taught in Assumption, and I taught in the Ateneo Graduate School.
Wow.
That was it was fun. But eventually, with 5 children, I couldn't, especially because Jim was always traveling
Correct.
sometimes, and he didn't want to travel by himself. So go with him. But that's it.
Yeah.
That's the story. And then, Lisa went into art.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, Rafael became a newspaper journalist, and then the others went their own way. They also, one of them also got an MBA, and then the other, Joanna, became an entrepreneur.
Yes, very much so.
And Miguel was for a while also a journalist he was an editor in Manila Bulletin. But now he's an entrepreneur also. He has a small um, food business that
Yes,
he's
yes.
very happy with.
Oh, then that's what's important.
And I mean, it's true. If we had more small businesses, we will be happier. Big business, I don't, some of these so-called magnates are not very,
I don't think so.
I,
Yes, I
I mean,
understand.
they're not to be idolized.
I think so.
If we had more small businesses, people will be happier. I mean, you don't have to be super rich.
No.
You can have a small business. You can look out for yourself, educate your children, even travel a bit. That Miguel can do that with his
Yeah.
small business.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We don't have to be millionaires.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. Well, you've always had, at least from me looking, that you had that sensibility. You were
Yeah.
never over the top. You were
Ah, well.
you were just yourself.
Because we're from Baguio. We don't,
Yes.
We're not over the top there. We're Ilocano types. Yeah.
No, really. It's amazing because I always tell Lisa, it's like, Lisa, I have to, And she was like, but I don't get it. I said, it's not for you to get. It's not for you to get.
Yeah, well, anyway, she has her own little milieu of work.
Yes,
Good for her.
I think so. But it's also art. It's also writing. It's also
of course.
books.
And every human civilization or life needs art.
Yes.
That's a spiritual part of us.
Did you have to influence? Did you ever like tell your kids, no, you have to do this or that, or you just let them?
No, I just let them. Maybe I should have told them more, but they let them. Jim and I we liked art, so we started collecting. Maybe that's what influenced them somehow. They buy little things that they can afford. I'm happy about that.
Yeah. And you seem to have special friends that you've connected with, like your group.
Yeah. Well, friends forever. That's how I got through my husband's death, because of my friends. Otherwise, I don't know.
They would come and help you.
Well, they were there.
They were there,
Yeah.
just physically there, spiritually and emotionally.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, you can't go through life without friends.
No.
You can't.
And especially, were your sisters living abroad already at
Yeah,
that
my
time?
sisters have been living abroad since the 1960s.
So really, it was your friends
Yeah,
that pulled
I'm
you
the only
through.
one here. And actually, at this point, I'm the eldest of my generation.
How old are you, Tita?
Huh?
How old are you?
86.
Wow.
Will be 87 this year. And I have cousins in Australia, younger than me. Not much younger, but younger. And one in Spain, not much younger, but younger. And my sisters are younger, but I'm the eldest now because my cousin died at 94 last year.
Yeah.
No more of my mother's generation.
Yeah.
That's it.
So how often do you go back to Baguio?
I try to go every 6 weeks. I tear myself from here. I'm going on the 24th.
Yeah, next time we
That's a
should meet
done
up
deal.
there. That's a done deal.
Yeah.
Well, I love how you said that's a done deal. You're a very strong woman. So your Baguio upbringing, your life experiences, what would you be able to say to the youth now?
I'll say to the youth now to define their identity by understanding their country, understanding their history, and living, identifying with it. That's part of you, and that you belong, to this country, to this society, and thanks to them, you're here, so you give back.
It's funny because that's for me. I kind of found out late. little bit like you had to be a certain way growing up. I didn't know. And during the lockdown, I was still doing TNVR, by the way, quietly.
Yeah, I know.
Because it was only the veterinary clinics that were not, you could,
Yeah.
So then one day, a friend of ours crossed over, and Tito is stoic, doesn't, no drama, no
Yeah,
nothing. And then he sat me down and he was like, Rina, you got to do what you got to do. I was like, what are you on? What are you smoking? I was to tell him. And he was like, no, this is your time now. And you love the animals. So you got to do this. So that impetus, that push. And going back to what you're saying, so I've gone to so many places in the Philippines,
I know.
met so many people because of the
And
animals.
make connections, you're right. The LGUs are the critical point.
Critical point. And then understanding myself as a Filipina because, mestiza, you're labeled, you're whatever, right? And you feel like you don't belong, but your heart and your blood is so Filipino in a certain way.
Well, Gombursa, by the way, were not exactly, they were all mestizos. I mean, I think that difference is now almost gone.
Almost gone.
Yeah.
But what I like because of the work is the animals were like a bridge
Yeah.
to find myself
Yes.
and for my purpose.
Any kind of connection, that you're doing actually for the country or for the people, even the animals, is a connection.
Is a huge connection. And like I remember in QC, a vet from QC, Doc May, called and she says, "Can you please help me?" And I was like, "How come?" Oh, there's a 75-year-old woman who used to work for DSWD. She ran a shelter for humans. And she has 18 dogs and, 25 cats and whatever. And she needs to leave her home to go back to Iloilo. And I went there to this house. And she's a graduate of Philippine Women's University. Of that time when the English is different. The English is completely different. And I was so articulate, so precise. And I said, so I was interviewing her, how did you end up with all these dogs? And it started with one dog. Anyway, the connections were made. And we managed to get all the animals for her. And they're in the sanctuary now. But I remember going to her house, and I promise you, there was scatological matter all over the place.
There were what?
Poops.
Yeah. Okay.
Poops and peeps.
Yeah, because
all
she's
over.
alone. Yeah.
She's alone. She had one bumbilya. I was
And
like,
she was taking care of other
yeah.
people.
And I was like, it's like I had a lump in my throat and I didn't want to cry in front of her, but it's like, and so I guess her DSWD, her social work, but now it was with the animals, and the neighbors were saying she goes every day to beg for rice and food for her animals,
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, it brings you to reality.
Yes.
It makes you authentic.
Yeah.
So we still contact each other, and she wanted me to send 3 of the cats we caught to Iloilo, but they're sick. So I said they won't make it through the voyage, and so I said just get another dog or a puppy. So she has a puppy now, and it's just one. But so there are instances like that, or instances where going into the slum hill of Addition Hills, and helping people, and you see the reality of how 40 families living in a dungeon-like place with one bathroom to share. it you don't live in a little world. It's still a little world of animals, but it's still that world.
Yeah.
And you see the importance of public safety, but also how many people cling on to their animals.
Yeah. Especially when there's fire, flood,
Yes,
alsabalutan with animals.
with animals. Yeah, with animals. Definitely. I was buying one of those undoy boats. I'm buying an undoy boat so next time I have a boat to put the animals in.
Yeah.
So that because we went to Marikina,
yes. Oo.
so
Yeah, that's smart.
yeah, so we're getting geared up. We're partners with Mandaluyong City. We're the veterinary arm for the risk reduction, disaster reduction.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm glad that the animals have
Yeah,
advocates. Yes.
yeah,
Okay. So,
yeah. I also was wondering, so what drove you? I think you really have a heart to serve. So you ran, you write. You're not meaning you even write difficult things.
yeah. I actually, one of the things I did in Mandaluyong was for 9 years, or I don't know how many elections, 4 or 5. I was the NAMFREL chair.
Oh, wow.
In the times of trouble here, I used to count the votes of Abalos. The first time he was cheated.
Yes.
And then he went to the Supreme Court. After that, with Neptali Gonzalez, anak ko, I went through security threats. But I managed. After that, I told them, they didn't want to let go. I said, hey, I'm too old to be roaming around up to 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's a spirit. Humdinger nga.
Huh?
Humdinger. No, my gosh. I didn't know that. That you were the NAMFREL. Wow.
Yeah, we're the NAMFREL here. Naku. At that time, in the 1984 and the 1986 election, horrible.
And then your husband served with the Cory government.
Yeah.
And then after that, you still continued your advocacy and
Yeah,
you're
of
working with
course.
the...
Yeah. I mean, even when he was gone, I was still in NAMFREL. I didn't let go.
So it gave you purpose as well. It gave you purpose.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you have to be busy. Especially when you're grieving, or else you'll fall into a depression.
So I'm sure it was very hard. And you
Quite.
just... Quite hard.
Quite hard.
You were very close.
Yes.
I read in the book.
Yeah.
How old was he when he passed?
49. Just because of entering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if it was the government, that's not a problem. But he got into a political, infighting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in the past. I have no regrets.
Really?
Sorry about it, but that was his idea. They drafted him. He didn't plan to join, but Cory said, I didn't ask for this job, so he had to go.
Yeah. It
It would have been more comfortable to stay in the private sector.
but he obviously had this thing to serve. Very different
Yeah.
from his brother then.
Huh?
Very different from his brother.
Yeah, in a sense, they were different personalities, but they both served the country.
Yes. Because I know Cynthia.
Yeah.
So they're very, very intelligent, very cerebral.
Yeah.
I was telling Lisa, I read the book. And then she said, I can't read that book.
Yeah.
She told me she couldn't read it.
And maybe when she's older. Yeah, she was very close to her. All of them are very close to Jim. Affected them.
Well, it was their, maybe also now made them who they are.
Yeah. Somehow.
Sometimes It's something that I've developed now because I keep hitting brick walls with this what we're doing, and I keep saying, okay, how do I turn this around? It's like, okay, how do I turn this around? Like I get so upset, I get so mad, I feel the heat going up my head, and I start to curse because I curse, and then Tito looks at me and I'm saying, okay, stop, pause.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn this around. Then he
Calm
goes, oh,
down.
you're tenacious, Rina. Oh, you're tenacious. You're pragmatic. I said, yes, I'm a pit bull. I'm a Carabao. I'll just keep on going.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good thing. You know, when you're upset,
Yeah.
deep breath can help you calm down.
Yeah. But you've lived such a life of purpose and you're still living it.
Yeah, I'm happy. Managed.
How long was it? The tough period? Years.
3 years. Crying every day. It was already a ritual. Go to a certain corner and cry. So I remember that the day before Lisa got married, instead of crying in the wedding, which would not have been the thing, I decided to cry before. So I was able to get through. But other people were crying. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so touched that you should open up because lately people are very they don't want to go through the grieving. And I understand that.
Yeah, well,
But sometimes it's the being in the moment, and you have no choice, and somehow I feel people want to skip that part, and I understand why. But it
sometimes they want to skip it at a certain point in their life, but eventually they'll confront it. I think. I mean, if they're normal.
if they're not.
Yeah.
No, I find it interesting because I find life is so different now. Everything is instant on the phone,
Yeah.
and you don't have those moments of deep thought.
I know. That's why reading is so important. You know, what you're getting in the television is snippets of news without the background, without all the facts.
I was saying this to a journalist friend of ours who always covers what we do. And I said, gone are the days, like even a magazine like Vanity Fair, one article could take a year because they would really
Yeah.
follow the lead, research, get the context, interview other people. And now it's just, I don't know, it's instant.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason newspapers are not getting circulation because people are in a hurry. They don't want to read. They don't want to go through a whole thing. But it's very important. It's very important. You have a better feel of what's going on, a better knowledge, and a better way of meeting the challenges if you know more.
I think people are maybe more, they want easy answers, quick answers.
Yeah, well, they're in a hurry.
And it's sad because then I find you like me. I discover myself each time like, oh wait, why am I reacting this way? So gives me time to think. That I read an article said, oh, this is nonsense, right? This is absolute nonsense.
Their nonsense is online.
Yes, mostly online. So I'm really makulit like that. Like now, I'm trying to get one of my projects now. So I wrote customs, I wrote Bureau of Animal Industries, because one of my big things now is I'm hoping that they see the wisdom in making companion animals, cats and dogs, its own thing. And I'm writing to customs and I'm writing to Bureau of Animal Industries because I want to say, hey, it's a multiple billion peso industry. The taxes we get from that should go back to the dogs and the cats, right? So if you have an agency, here's the possible way to fund, and it can concentrate because right now it's on Department of Agriculture, right? But their main focus is on food security, which is correct.
Yeah, of course. At this point, yeah.
At this point, right? But there's this other neglected area, especially for NCR, where there is no livestock. It's mostly companion animals. So I'm so makulit. I keep writing customs. So they replied. Then now I'm waiting for Bureau of Animal Industries. But because of my passion, I realized I could be so resourceful. So it's like, uy, okay to parang, I'm a little bit, I didn't know that I had that in me.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like that I challenge myself. But I challenge myself only because something challenges me.
Yeah, of course.
And a lot
You
of the...
rise to
Yes.
the occasion.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't want that nowadays. It's the shortcut of things. They want things multiple choice or
Yeah.
and this is the training that I feel that our education system is lacking. Critical thinking. So I'm prepared.
Critical thinking in short supply.
Very short supply, and that's why when I was trying to think, I'm making a presentation, so I keep practicing with different people how I'm going to argue. I have the slides. Then I was thinking, during the Senate, I was a resource person, and I said, so what are the economic models, and what is the cost benefit analysis? Because you keep impounding the dogs and euthanizing them. And of course, public safety, I understand that. But how come there are more dogs and more cats in the street every time? So somebody has to question
Yeah.
the process and the method,
Yeah.
right? So they were like taken aback. And I was like, yes. Because as science
They have
moves,
to do something before the problem comes.
yun na nga. And so that's why I said, we cannot euthanize, adopt, rescue, shelter our way out of the problem. We need education and we need kapon.
Yeah.
So that's my,
Animal population control.
yes. And
Even human, even family planning, actually. For
exactly.
That's one of the reasons why we cannot manage to get off the ground. It's just we're too many. The resources are not enough.
Not enough. Yeah. So, Tita, what are you planning for?
Planning.
No planning. You just live your day to day.
Yeah. That's it. Relaxing to my old age.
I don't know. Your spirit seems younger than mine. How many grandchildren now, Tita?
I have 13.
Wow.
Well, I have 5 children, so none have more than 3. And some have only 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wanted to thank you for this time, Tita.
Thank you. You're welcome.
It's our anniversary, September 1. And if you're available, I'll tell Lisa to
Okay.
bring you to, we have a whole event
Yeah.
and we're hoping to do 2,000 capons in 12 hours.
Okay.
And the Baguio vets that, we supported, they're sending 6 to help us.
Wow, oh nice. How
So-
nice of Baguio. Okay.
Yes. And so it's like a coming together for a common purpose, for shared advocacy. And this is shared advocacies bring humans together.
Yes. Animals and humans.
Yes.
We live in the same planet.
Exactly. So I'll invite you to that,
Yeah,
Tita.
thank
So
you.
last, any message you want to give our audience?
Well, I would say that your life will be more joyful if you have an animal companion. And even if you don't, and you see other animals, be kind to them.
Yes.
Because they are part of the planet,
Yes.
part of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Tita. Maraming salamat po, mga kabiyaya. I hope you enjoyed this. I super enjoyed this. This is like a dream for me. So, thank you.
A few moments later.
Hello, mga kabiyaya. We are here to discuss anything under veterinary services, rescues, adoptions, TNVR, animal welfare, responsible pet ownerships. Anything and everything as well in between. Kung nais po ninyong magiging isang biyaya sa aming mga alagang aso't pusa, please comment below or message our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you. Maraming salamat.